A very good evening and thanks for clicking on to the Good Friday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. In the final 2 days of March, up to 6 countries within Europe saw the hottest March day on record, and we've got a complete and utter flip around, a remarkable flip around at that, for the same areas in the coming days here. So we've seen deep raids representing the record warmth, stretching from locally in Spain through France, the Low Countries, both Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, all recorded their hottest March day in recorded history. And of course the UK seen its hottest March day since 1968. It's quite interesting actually when you look back. There's quite a lot of records here that date back to 1968, the last time we've seen a very, very hot March temperature in this part of the world here. But upcoming 5 days of the GFS ensemble looks like this here. So look at the flip around in the temperature. You just don't get much bigger than that, really. The 6 to 10 day is arguably even colder. And then even in the 11 to 15 day, we've got still some residual cool seen by the model. Remember, this is going out to the period now through the middle portion of April. So certainly, according to these models here, we've got a very chilly front running, or front half to April across many western parts of the continent here. So what exactly have we got coming? Persistency has been remarkable in driving potentially one of the coldest air masses you will ever see in Western Europe during the month of April here. So at the moment, this is the surface chart of the GFS. 2 areas of high pressure centered to the west of the British Isles. Area of low pressure sitting currently over along the east coast of Greenland. That, folks, is going to be the game changer as we go through this weekend here. Because as we skip through, you can see here how we start to see a shift taking place here. We see that area of low pressure traveling from the east coast of Greenland towards Scandinavia, and what's going to happen is the frontal boundary associated with that area of low pressure is what's going to open the floodgates to the Arctic. Look at the contrast in pressure. We've got a 1074 millibar high over Greenland versus a 962 millibar low centered over the Norwegian Sea. So you have such a huge pressure gradient. This, folks, I think is a little overdone in terms of the extremity of this, but you have a howling, bitterly cold northerly wind that then drives south over the British Isles here, and you've got the 510 thickness value. By the way, when you've got the lower the thickness value, the more of a shrinkage in the troposphere, which represents how cold the air mass is. And even in the middle of winter, you get very rarely you get a 510 thickness value over British airspace here, and that is what the modelling is indicating, and that is super cold. -10 to -15 Celsius at 850, -40 at 500 millibars over Scotland here. That is truly remarkable, to say the least here, folks. But let's keep in perspective here. Of course, you've got a very strong April sunshine versus a winter time cold air mass. So you've got a big battle here between the strength of the sun and, of course, the air mass itself. And that is what's going to make it interesting to see exactly how cold we can get down to the surface with this type of setup here. But of course, you've got minimal time for the air to travel from the source region down over the British Isles, so it's going to fight and potentially beat the early April strong sunshine. We could see some record-breaking high temperatures in terms of cold, record-breaking low maximum, should I say. But also the modelling is indicating double digits below freezing by night time, which is also a very rare thing to see. Snowfall down to all levels within the atmosphere, all the way down to the south coast of England. Again, that is another very interesting and impressive factor in this type of air mass. So the big question is this: how cold is this air mass actually going to be once it travels down during the end of Easter Sunday and through Easter Monday. And also the modelling indicates a secondary wave of bitterly cold air coming down during the course of next week, hence why the GFS ensemble indicates the 6 to 10 possibly colder than the front running 5-day period here. So this, folks, is certainly a very impressive flip around compared to what was seen during the end of March here. But how much snow, how cold the air mass will be, will only remain to be seen. But certainly you go back to March of 2012, we've seen a very cold spell of weather following record-breaking March warmth. So a little bit of heat history repeating itself. And even you only have to go back to March of 2018, where we've seen Edinburgh record a high temperature of only 2 Celsius, the coldest April day in 80 years for Edinburgh's Botanic Gardens. And so it's going to be interesting. It's hard to get record cold even in April. It really does take a lot to surpass some of the records that we have already in place at the moment here. So this is going to be a very interesting scenario as we go forward here. And in terms of snowfall, well, of course, the ground has been warming up in recent weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see how much we get lying as well. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your bank holiday weekend, and I'll be back in the next couple of days with more. Bye for now.